next up is Volunteer of the Month. Is Dan here? Dan Gold? Hi, Dan. Dan, come on up.
Yes, I will. I'll return to the podium. You're not in.
Dan, going over to the podium.
This is Dan Clanham, Volunteer of the Month of October 2015. Dan is a longtime volunteer with a vast knowledge of astronomy. He is a faithful member of the Observatory Park Technical Advisory Group, and for the past year has spearheaded work sessions to refurbish the telescope at the NASA Astronomical Observing Station. His dedication to keep the telescope in good working order in advance of the NASA renovation will ensure that the future generations have expanded opportunities to discover the night sky. Dan is a natural interpreter who easily shares his passion for astronomy with all ages. His deep knowledge, guidance, and support of Geauga Park District growing astronomy program is greatly appreciated. Dan, you're welcome. Have a word.
I don't think I deserve this honor, but I appreciate being honored. Oh, I appreciate the opportunity to share my astronomy hobby with the general public who come to Observatory Park. And there isn't a time that I don't volunteer out there where someone's driven either from Columbus or the far west side of Cleveland just to observe the park. And it's truly a gem that we need to nurture and take care of and foster, and it'll open up opportunities for people in the future. So, thank you very much. I appreciate the honor.
Thank you, Dan. And I have to tell you before you leave, may I have your certificate, please, because it's not signed.
It's not official.
No, I will sign it for you,
Oh,
okay?
okay. Thank you.
All right, next up, thank you, Dan. I've had the privilege of sitting on a number of advisory committees with Dan, and really appreciate you, your humble nature, your professionalism, and thanks for your service to the Geauga Park District.
Thank you, John.
That is truly a gem in the county, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Look around. Who else has one?
Nobody. We're unique.
All right, next up on the agenda is a presentation by ACOM for the Orchard Hills Park Award. ACOM, I'm assuming I've got it right, is Architect, Engineering, Consulting, Operations, and Maintenance. So I'm going to let Q on staff come on up and receive this award because Matt was the project manager, lead project manager on the Orchard Hills Park project.
So we have Tom Evans, who was a project manager on AECOM's end for the Orchard Hills project, and then Chris Lynn, who's with AECOM now, formerly was a park planner here. So they're going to talk about the award of the project.
So thank you, Matt. My name is Tom Evans. With me today is Christian Lynn and colleagues. So what we have is the Orchard Hills Park won a merit award from the Ohio chapter of the American Society of Landscape Architects about a month ago. And I'm here today to present a certificate, one award certificate to the board. We have also a poster, a mounted poster to explain the project. The district cares to display that somewhere. But the project was recognized as a very innovative conversion of a golf course to a ecological restoration and watershed restoration, and demonstrated, I think, innovative stormwater techniques that was purifying stormwater and creating habitat with a constructed wetland on site. So those were some of the key aspects that the committee did note. So, and I know we started off with a very good plan by Matt, but and we were just pleased to be able to execute the project. So,
And I feel guilty receiving the award because I didn't do a thing.
well, that's the kind of award that there, you know, so
Matt, this is really for you and John and the rest of the staff at the park.
Thank you. We also have, these are some award booklets that just show the project as it was submitted, and something you should have as well. You can pass them around as necessary. Just another thing, I think it was really, Tom mentioned why the project was innovative, but one additional thing that we thought was very unique about the project was the ability to take a kind of a ecological restoration project, but also incorporate that into creating a place for passive and active recreation. So showing that those two can coexist together was something really unique that the award was, one of the reasons the award was given. So a place that people can actually inhabit as well as protect the natural features. Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you both.
As Mary Ruth did say, and I'd like to stress the importance of really recognizing Matt. Matt was the project lead, the entire planning department, the crossover and work with natural resource management on some of the species for meadow restoration, and just really taking a former golf course and as Chris mentioned, recognizing that project for its value to parks and park patrons. So thank you for submitting on our behalf. We definitely appreciate it, but kudos to the staff. So thank you very much. Thanks for coming. So, Matt, you want to introduce Dan?
Yeah, I was going to say, we had a new park planner start in October, Dan McConaughey. Dan is a graduate in landscape architecture from Ohio State University, and also graduated from Notre Dame Cathedral Lab Making in Munson. So it's kind of come home to the park district.
Welcome, Dan. And I would like to introduce to our left, Sheryl Hatridge. Sheryl comes to us from Geauga County JFS, some experience working for Davie Resource Group. Many of you know them as Davie Tree. A little bit of time with South Russell Village, and she is taking Anna's place. Anna is riding off into the sunset, so to see how to perhaps greener pastures or a little less to do in her life. So, and we wish Anna the best, and Sheryl, we wish you the best in taking over. So, welcome, Sheryl.
And thank you, Anna.
Sincere thank you.
You're a top drawer.
You come back and visit us, won't you? Put her on the spot. No, I'm riding off. So, all right, summer photo contest winner recognition. Is Jeff Root here? I don't believe he could make it. But Jeff Root was the winner of the summer photo contest. It lasted July through September. The summer edition drew 35 entries featuring our summer connect theme, nighttime, art, or Geauga. There were 331 votes. To choose first and second place winners on our Facebook page. So today we honor Jeff Root. Jeff is from Clarendon Township. He photographed a sunrise along the new south section of the Maple Islands Trail and won the summer contest with 28 votes.
And this is his.
Yep.
Can you all see? It's really
He gets the framed copy, and as always, our gift of the precious Geauga County, Geauga Park District made pint of maple syrup. So congratulations, Jeff.
You guys can carefully pass it. I'll let you pass it.
All right, with that, the next item on the agenda is open to the public. I see some new faces in the crowd. So let's turn it over to you, Mrs. Shumway.
Okay. I was gonna say there are new faces in the crowd, some of which I've never met before, so if you all raise your hands if you came to speak, yes? Come on up to the podium,
Jump
please.
in? All right.
And we ask that you try to keep it to 3 minutes,
Sure.
but some of us know, right, John, that it's not always able to do that.
I'm sure I can.
If you can just give us the township that you're from, please.
Hamden Township, my name is Will Frazier. I'm here to talk briefly about the Chagrin Valley Hunt. The Chagrin Valley Hunt is a 107-year-old organization. We are fox chasers and actually now coyote chasers. We don't kill anything, there's no firearms involved. Our organization, the Chagrin Valley Hunt, is recognized and adheres to the standards of the international governing body, the Master of Foxhounds Association. And I am a Master of Foxhounds, one of 4 of the hunt. So we're the ones responsible for the production, so to speak, and the management of the Chagrin Valley Hunt. Our organization has liability insurance with Markel Insurance Company, $1 million per occurrence, $3 million aggregate. So we're certainly financially responsible. We have a professional huntsman, Mark McManus, who spent 4 years with the Ottawa Valley Hunt. Came to us from Ottawa Valley. Before that, he was with the Roma Hounds in Italy, and before that, the Van Wee Miners Hunt in England. His son, Eric McManus, is a professional whipper in. So these 2 men's job is to care for this pack of hounds and also to conduct the hunt, so to speak. Our interest is in getting permission to use Observatory Park occasionally. That's an 1,100 acres, and in our sport, 1,000 is what you like. So when you see a piece of land that large, it catches your attention. Right now, most of our riding is done in Middlefield and will continue to be, but we're always looking for new areas. And what we'd like to do is actually use it for hound exercising. This is a place for train our new entries to stay with the pack, to find the line, which is where the scent where a coyote or a fox is gone, to speak so that once they find this line, they give out a cry that they've picked up the scent, and also to respond to the huntsman and the whipper-in's commands. It also gives our members a better vantage point. So part of the interest here is you watch the hound work that's being done. If anybody is familiar with field trials, think of it as that way. You're watching the animals do their work. And the other thing is that facility would be a great place for what's called a drag. That's where an artificial scent is laid and the hound works that versus looking for a true fox or coyote that's gone through there. What we would like is 6 times a year, about 3 hours at a time for these to do these events. That's all I have to say.
Well, I've got a couple of questions, just familiarize me. So you're asking for us to let you all just go anywhere within the 1,000 acres within Observatory Park?
Well, yes.
In other words, you would not stay on trail?
The horses would stay on trail. The hounds, no, the hounds.
Okay. Do you have any questions, Doug?
When I was a young man, I was a whipper-in for the Woodford Beagles. Horatio Ford was the fellow that owned them. And of course, we didn't have horses, we just followed by foot. But it was quite entertaining, and in fact, we brought Mr. Ford bought Kansas jackrabbits to run because they wouldn't run the ground. So if you ran all Sunday, you're running around crossing the Chagrin River from time to time in waist-deep water. Oh, it's a lot of fun. But I understand what he is, because at the Chagrin Valley Hunt Club, they also have the hounds there.
Yes.
I know exactly what he's talking about laying the line and so on. I would imagine for those that like to ride, like Mary Ruth, she's probably all for it. I'm neutral on that. I enjoy the sport. It's an old sport. It goes back to England and Scotland, back in the 1400s or something like that. But
George Washington was a master of fox.
Well, I'll be quite vocal in telling you, my biggest concern is Observatory Park is one of those parks where we have a lot of preservation property. And I don't know that it would be appropriate for, if we're gonna cite individuals for going off trail, if we would then bring in beagles or hounds, whatever they might be, to run off trail, because they're going to do, albeit not as much damage. You know, a 30-pound dog is a 200-pound man, but it's still gonna be damaged. So I think we'll just take this into consideration and probably discuss it with the executive director at length.
Would you run both American and English firearms?
Yes, most of the pack, we moved to Old English for the most part and some crossbreds. And we just added beagles this year, their first,
You don't use any walkers or anything like that?
Right?
No walk arounds, you don't use walkers?
No, mostly Old English. No further questions. Thank you.
It's the suits.
Good afternoon, my name is Chip Hostetler. I'm from the Ohio State Snowmobile Association. I reside in Hamden Township, Observatory Park. So next to me is Brian Gidley. He's also from the Ohio State Snowmobile Association. We'd like to talk a little bit about possibly allowing a pilot program of snowmobiling in the park.
All right, good afternoon. As Chip said, I'm a member of the Ohio State Snowmobile Association. I actually have a business in Geauga County as well. I've been part of the association for approximately 25, 27 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. I've been part of not only the association, but also the Ashtabula County Metroparks and a pilot program that they started. It goes back to the 1980s with the West Reserve Greenway Trail and making that trail a multi-use recreational trail where they have motorized use as well as non-motorized use. It's the first one in Ohio that has that, and it's been an absolute success. We actually have a park board member from Ashtabula County Metroparks with us, who has been involved with the sport for about 10 years, and been involved with Ashtabula County Metroparks for the past 2 years. The program that we're looking for, and some of the things that we battle is that our recreation is motorized versus non-motorized. So what I do have is a pamphlet that's put out by the American Council of Snowmobile Associations. This is a collaboration between Canada and America, and it talks about the facts and myths of our industry. We have a wide variety of economic impact that is positive, as well as going into the vegetation, compaction ratios, and how the impact with birds and wildlife is non-effective with motorized use. A lot has changed in our industry in the past, I'd say since 2007 is when the EPA put the regulations down on our industry, and it was well needed. If you listen to the news, you've probably heard of the West Yellowstone debate. Snowmobiles are still allowed access in West Yellowstone for a reason. It's because there's been billions of dollars spent in legal fees and studies to find out that, guess what, we don't have the impact, the negative impact that everybody said we did. And these are independent studies, these are not studies that we as an organization or associations do. So part of what Chip and I have been talking about for a number of years, and some of the other members, is that when we're out in Geauga County and we do snowmobile in the county, we've been to Observatory Park, we've been to many of the trails in the summer. In the wintertime, there's not a lot of access, there's not a lot of folks out in the winter. We're looking for an opportunity for a possible pilot program that would allow snowmobiles either in a contained area with trails, like Observatory Park, or on a different land tract that you may suggest, and maybe do permits to where we only allow access to 15, 20, or however many permits. And then we're able to police it not only with the rangers, spot checking, but also if you're open to volunteerism, which I understand you are, that we would be out there during the days in the open hours at random times to educate the public and anybody that uses the trails. We are hopeful that you guys would consider the opportunity, and also we'd like to extend. We've done what we call a Take a Front Snowmobiling campaign, which is nationwide, and it's actually through North America. We've done it in Ashtabula County for a number of years. We'd like to bring it to Geauga County. It is a a campaign that we do for the public. It's free. We give snowmobile rides, and it exposes the individuals, families, and anybody interested in the sport to exactly what it really is about. It's not as noisy and as polluting as everybody has once said. They're 4-stroke snowmobiles that are actually cleaner than the lawnmowers that we all operate on a daily basis in the summertime. So a lot has changed in our industry, and we'd like to educate everybody about the opportunities.
I've got a few questions.
Fire away.
So you said 4-stroke, so these are the same snowmobiles that are allowed in the national parks?
That's correct.
And so with that permit, if the parks would decide to do this, they could regulate, or the rangers could regulate that it is in fact a 4-stroke, which is supposed to be the quieter, significantly quieter snowmobiles?
It's significantly quieter, but what has also happened in our industry is that we still have 2-stroke snowmobiles, that they have to meet the EPA regulations for sound and noise, or sound and pollution. So they are very equal between 2-stroke and 4-stroke. You could put an ordinance in place where they could police the 4-stroke, absolutely. West Yellowstone does do that, and some of the other national parks.
Say a 2-stroke, here's the mixed gas. You mix the oil with the gasoline, and it's a lot smellier.
Yeah. And
It used to be, it's Mr. Gertz anymore, it is not. It has changed a lot in our industry.
Okay, and the other thing, just to clarify, so if in fact these permits were allowed, the snowmobilers would stick to trails, correct? No off-trail riding?
I will vouch for the two of us standing here, that we would.
Okay.
I will be completely honest and say that, as with the folks that drive on roads and speed when we're not supposed to, or they're not supposed to, there's always those individuals that may break the law. We're not supportive of that. There's 2% of the folks that do that ruin it for the rest of us. But that's where policing and education come into play, and that's where we'd like to help out and step up and write the tickets, enforce the laws. For example, Ashtabula County has an ordinance, or not an ordinance, we do not allow track or studded machines on the Greenway Trail, which is a traction device that goes on the track, could damage the asphalt. They are banned. We police it in the wintertime, and we do not have a problem out there with damage to the asphalt, as well as folks that are breaking the law. In the beginning, with anything new, you have to police it.
Okay, I guess my only other question is then, so in Ashtabula, since you're here, you can tell me this, are you all closing trails to have the snowmobilers there? Because how could you have pedestrians and snowmobilers on the trail at the same
We
time?
have a local club that actually wrote a grant last year to get a beautiful groomer, big groomer. They maintain the trail all winter. Our park doesn't maintain it at all. It's open to walking, but it's 15 feet wide. It's a rail bed. You're gonna see some of those kind of skiers on it.
Okay, so it's a
all the
rail
time.
bed, okay.
It's very easy approach, and the local club takes care of all of it. Plows the parking lots, our park, or doesn't have any responsibility on the roads.
We, out in Ashtabula, we also have not only the folks that are walking, but we have cross-country skiers, as well as the horsemen. They're out on the trail. And we ask that everybody be respectful, and I will say I've been out there with my family, and a number of times we have run across horsemen on the trails, as well as folks walking, and everybody slows down. It's just curious. Those are the individuals that pay attention to the law, and that's 98% of them.
Well, the cross-country skiers love it, the trails.
Yeah, I bet they do.
Yeah.
Any
Okay. Do you have
questions?
Questions, Bill?
You don't want me to talk on this.
Yes, we do.
No.
Yeah.
I've been fighting this kind of thing for years on my own farm. They cut down trees, not these people, but I'm not gonna shoot him down if they do.
Okay.
If they can control it, I'm for it. If they can't control it, forget it.
I agree. We just want the opportunity, and if it works, great. If not, then we're responsible for the actions.
Okay.
Thank you.
John, do you have any questions?
I don't.
Okay. Okay. Session is all. Yes, and I think you're the only other one that.
From this point on, you'll be known as the loyal opposition.
Well, it's better than political terrorist, which other people will call me. Hi, I'm Ed Buckles from Troy Township. It's so hard to know where to start. First of all, happy holidays, everybody. I hope everything goes well until our next meeting here. This is sort of ironic. I hadn't really expected this. An award to the folks at Observatory Park, and then two people show up who want to use it for some odd things. I happen to live next door to where the Chagrin Valley Fox Hunters congregate twice a year and do their fox hunt, and occasionally have to ask them not to come up my driveway and that sort of thing. I also live next to the snowmobile trail the local snowmobile club puts in, and with a climb over a fence nearby, and I'm certainly glad they're quieter than they used to be, because they sure aren't quiet right now. I think the survey that the park did, where the issue of snowmobiles was brought up and clearly rejected by the people of this county, should be respected. I think you ought to take a look at the Environ report that says that active versus passive recreation in the park brings down property values nearby. And Mary Ruth is absolutely right. There are deed restrictions at Observatory Park, and that park came together in a variety of little pieces, and those deeds are various in their restrictions, so those need to be looked at carefully. But that's all unexpected. I hadn't expected that. What I really wanted to talk about were several things. Bylaw changes are on the agenda. I would say again, they want to move back to the much criticized Tom Curtin days, when there was no restriction on the executive director spending authority except state law. And that's pretty much what this new bylaw change says, state law and budget. I came out of a corporation from 30 years, and I was probably #2 counsel in the United States for an international company. I had limited authority. My boss, the general counsel, had limited authority. His boss in Sweden, she had limited authority. Everybody was stair-stepped, and everybody was checked as they went along, so that you could work within your authority, but over your authority, you had to go to somebody else. And this board ought to take a very hard look at those bylaw changes, because as I read it, it even says once the money is allocated, you have to approve what has been done. You don't have a choice. So look very carefully at that language. #2, park oversight. There's been some controversy about some trees which were marked for harvesting out at Westwoods, and only by the fact that an alert park visitor noticed and notified the folks on the board and the people that protect Geauga Parks was this intervened. What it really brings up to us is what's happening in those parks where there aren't trails. Look at the orchard here. There's a whole back section there that there are no trails on. Who's watching that? There are lots of parks in the area, or that are properties the park own in the area, that there are not visitors allowed. What's happening there? Park oversight is very, very critical, and it appears that it's not being done. The facility at Frohring Meadows, very nice new facility, very nice indeed. Somebody probably ought to tell His Honor about it, because my little tete-a-tete was moved from there because they didn't realize that it was done in a very cozy little atmosphere was there, but we got to go someplace else. But you ought to look at the pond there. It's overgrown, it's filling up. I noticed in the list of activities that are planned that control of invasives is in that list, and that restoration of some wildlife and other things, but there are no funds allocated. There is no financial oversight going on. Orchard Hills is interesting. If you look at the map there, that whole back section is sort of closed off. There's some beautiful trail-type areas that could go through along that little stream there that I understand are quite nice, that ought to be looked into some sort of development.
Ed, I don't want to cut you short, but think 3 minutes.
All right.
No.
Hunting, closed parks over the holiday periods, it's to 90,000 residents, so a few hundred hunters can hunt. That seems elitist, when we're being called elitist. Sharpshooters could come in and humanely cull the herds without closing the parks over holidays when families want to go there. There's more public hunting land in Geauga County than there is parkland, so let's keep our parks available as reserves for wildlife. Nice meeting with the judge, nice one-on-ones, 3-on-1s in most cases, but hey, who's counting? Heard the usual, you just don't want children in the park, which is sort of odd since my children grew up in the park, and when they come back, they bring their grandchildren. My